it's Holly here, and I'm in Texas for Quakecon. I even brought Nathan with me because Nathan's like, you love Doom.
I do.
You love Prey. And you love Dishonored 2.
I do.
Which is what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, it is. That was good. That was really good.
So,
so in the same way as the Prey video you might have seen on the channel, something they do here at Quakecon is that they show stuff to just the fans.
Which is kind of really cool.
Yeah, this has been a learning experience for me. This is very much a fan-led event. It's very cool. And so what we got to see was a kind of a flip side to the E3 demonstration. Now, you haven't played Dishonored.
No, I haven't. I'm guilty of that. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. And but one of the things was I was kind of a half stealth player, and then when things got wrong, I fixed it with the gaffer tape of violence. That's like how I played the game.
That is life.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, that is also how I.
There is nothing that can't be fixed with suitable application of high explosives.
Yeah, precisely. And so, one of the things they've been talking about a lot with Dishonored 2 is that previously, perhaps like doing the violent playthrough or the action playthrough didn't feel as rewarding. It felt like you were the game was kind of saying, "Oh, well done," but you could have done that. You could have done that quietly. Yeah, exactly. And so they've been talking about letting the action gameplay be a bit more kind of legitimate this time. And so what they showed this time was, so you're in Kanaka, which is the new setting.
Yeah.
This time, instead of Emily, like you were at E3, we were Corvo.
Yep.
So there's familiar powers at play, and the mission was, I don't know if you guys remember, it was there are overseers and howlers who are a local gang, and they're basically fighting for power and influence within the city. And this time we went with the so we basically normally like the establishment guys, like so who you'd normally consider the bad guys, and we went after a leader called Paolo of the Howlers.
Yes.
And it was violent as hell.
It was so incredibly violent.
And it was violence done in the way that a really good Dishonored player, like some of the playthroughs, I'm sure that if you like the game, you'd have seen online, chaining stuff together and just being, the crowd was like, oh yeah.
Some of the chaining stuff, even I had to admit, was so cool. I don't know if I was going to screw up your notes.
Yeah,
like
you are. Well, I was just going to walk through. Yeah.
And we did Prey.
Fine, go ahead.
But there was one bit where we had the body of the guy from the Howlers.
It's like this is the best bit, but sure, yeah, spoil it. No, go ahead.
Yeah, because you screwed up my Prey notes.
So it was using Blink. I just wanted to put that in, but yeah. So explain what. So
we threw the body over the balcony, used Blink to stop time, went down.
Blinking was to get down, but the time, also time was slowed down.
And then we just jumped down to the ground, took out the enemies down there, which was stunning and incredibly
just
violent.
Cut someone's throat. It was,
And then we
turned around,
back, grabbed the body as it was coming down, and off we went.
Yeah, and carried on. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was really,
Thank you for letting me have that moment because it was so cool.
It was really nicely done. So basically, what happens was you infiltrate the Howler hideout. And using Blink, I know it just reminded me, I haven't played Dishonored for ages, it's like getting up to ledges, just doing quick, cool stuff like that, and I was like, man, I am looking forward to being Corvo again, because the Emily powers do look good, but Blink is my favourite. Now the first thing we saw was he was using blood flies. He kind of basically set off a nest of the blood flies, which are the horrible kind of meaty,
they looked awful,
insects that they've got in Kanaka, and he basically angered them and then set them onto somebody, and then he used possession, which is an old ability. He possessed one of the blood flies to get through to the next part of the hideout, and at this point I was like, man, possessing and then flying, what I love about Dishonored is that it gives you abilities which seem so overpowered, but it creates a world within which it's still a game. It's not like, oh, you can fly, you can go anywhere, the game is ruined. It's like you can fly, and we've made a world which still contains you and still makes this a challenge. So I was like, God damn, I'm going to be able to fly. That's awesome. And then you get to the next section, and it was kind of just like a really cool, it was like a sleight of hand kind of play. So he used a couple of sleep darts, used an incendiary crossbow bolt.
Which was, again, incredibly violent.
It was just like everyone's getting messed up real quick. What I liked about this scene, so this is basically where the leader was, and you're kind of looking down on a scene of him being played. It's like really super kind of civilized and kind of baroque. That's what I really liked about Dishonored.
What I felt about it was that even though they were the Howlers, and in theory, you'd think because they're trying to rise up, they'd somehow be the good guys. But there was obviously a perception shift because this guy was a horrible character in himself.
He was. Yeah, exactly.
And for me, I was like, okay, now I'm getting what Dishonored is trying to do to me. It's also not clear.
You get into that room and you can overhear what they're saying, and it's always worth just kind of hiding out in those ledges and stuff to hear what the characters say, but they're having music played to them, and it's like this really strange just kind of cinematic scene. And it was the musicians that we used the sleep darts on. It was an accomplice that we burnt to pieces, and then we had like a classic Dishonored melee like fight with this boss, and then there was like a supernatural element too, because whoever you're working with at the beginning of the level is telling you that there's like this saying about Paolo that he can't be killed, and he has to be killed twice before sunset in order to like properly end him. So like you kill him, and he seems to just turn into a stream of rats and run away.
Just sort of like scuttered off.
And there are other people within the Dishonored world who sometimes also have supernatural powers, and it's the kind of thing about the game which sat less well for me than the rest of the stuff, because basically I just loved having the abilities without like a story reason why. But the more that I see of Dishonored 2 and the way that it's kind of using them, I don't know, man, I really like the way that the kind of supernatural stuff sits with the rest of the design of Dishonored 2. It looks really good. Yeah, and then we knocked him out basically. Threw him over a balcony, blinked down to the bottom, cut somebody's throat, turned around, caught it, and then we're just doing like it was just like a really nice violent playthrough with like throwing bodies into other people.
Really nice violent playthrough.
Everyone wants like a really nice violent playthrough, but the key thing is, as we kind of highlighted at the top, was that even when you were fighting 4 or 5 people, a mixture of abilities-based combat and just using your gun and your sword, it never felt like clumsy and sad and you're being punished because you didn't manage to do this like all really slick. Like it still seemed good fun, like just tossing a body into a group of other kind of henchmen seemed fun. It was cool, and the crowd was going.
We'd cut somebody up, wouldn't we? So we just grabbed the torso and just throw the torso at them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because why not?
Yeah, that's what you were doing. I mean, I've seen that in bar fights all the time. So for me, it was like another side of it, but not just another side of it, but just kind of a confirmation that if I do mess up in Dishonored 2, because that's basically what it is for me, I'm going to try and do a stealth run through. If I do mess it up, then the bits where I have to change my playthrough aren't going to feel like I'm being punished and wait till I can get somewhere and then like be quiet again. So that is Dishonored 2, a game which I'm very excited about. We're also going to have an interview with Harvey Smith on the channel very soon, and he's going to tell us loads more about Dishonored 2 because, you know, he's making it. So thank you guys for watching. Do stay tuned to the channel. We've got loads more coming up from Quakecon.
Yeah.